think you ought to know. Do-do-ah-da-da, Men's Radio. Do-do-ah-da-da, the place where men and women really speak. Do-do-ah, do-do-do-ah. Oh man, what a show. Do-do-ah-da-da, it's Men's Radio. Do-do-ah-da-da, this crazy show is on 3 times a week. Do-do-ah, do-do-do-ah. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ Kane and Phil Dave.
Greetings and salutations, not half pop pickers, out of Unit 1 into Unit 2. How about just a little bit of Dave D, Dozy, Peaky Mick, and you know who, listening to Men's Radio Station with myself, Russ Kane, and the backpack to my Sonny Khan, Phil Dave.
Oh,
you
hi.
can hear us coming at you live on www.mensradiostation.com, or, of course, you can watch us, you're brave, on Facebook, on Phil's Facebook, my Facebook, on the Men's Radio Station Facebook. You can listen to us and watch us on Twitter. And best of all, watch all the shows on the Men's Radio Station YouTube channel. And while you're visiting there, hit the subscribe button. Please press the like little thumbs up, please, because it really, really, really helps me and Phil, and it helps all the gang at Men's Radio. Really appreciate it. Philip, welcome back.
Oh, how very kind. Thank you. Now, speaking of Facebook, by the way, I've got something to, well, I say Facebook, it's social media in general, but I've got something to mention in just a moment's time. But before we get on to that, I have to tell you a little anecdote earlier on from today. Speaking to someone who I know listens to the show. I didn't know listens to the show, but I know now listens to the show. And he said to me, this chap, he said, my God, he said, I had absolutely no idea you could sing like that. And what he was talking about is because I mouth along to the brilliant Ray Gelato at the beginning of the show, he thought it was me singing.
Yeah. Phil Dave and the Giants.
Yeah.
The sound you can hear is from Ealing, Ray Gelato banging his head against the wall.
Rest assured, I absolutely do not sound like that when I sing. Ray Gelato, on the other hand, sounds superb, and that's why
it's even better live. Oh, it's fantastic live.
Who sings the opening titles? Now, Russell.
Yes, no, before we do anything, Lisa Janes, you're in hospital, you're feeling unwell, you're feeling bored, wishing you better, wishing you a very, very speedy recovery. You're not having a good time, putting it mildly. So everybody at Men's Radio and Women's Radio, get well soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, can we also say, I don't know whether or not she's listening yet, but hopefully she is, a very happy birthday to Andrea Lucas.
Thank you, baked potato.
Who's
celebrating a happy baked potato today. I didn't put happy birthday, but happy baked potato.
Well, I think that's very sensible, because I think it should be a happy baked potato every day. So there you go. Every day. And by the way, hello to everyone who says hello. And may I suggest as well, Kimmy Lashmar. No, I still can't say that.
No, we can't.
No, haven't got to
give it one go.
Dave D, etc. Right, coming up. What?
Nothing. Go.
Oh, fine, for goodness sake. Dave D, Dozy, Meeky, Beaky. Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, and Mitch. No,
but it's close. It's the best you've ever done. It's the best you've ever done in 2 years. It's fantastic.
It goes horribly wrong. Dave D, Dave B, Dozy,
No, stop.
Dave D, Dozy, Daisy, Meeky, Bick, and Titch. What? Hang on, hang on, wait. I've got this. It's fine. Dave B. No, Dave. Dozy, Mickey, but no. What is it?
Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch.
Dave B, Dozy, Beaky.
No, it's not Dave B. It's Dave D.
Dave D. Dozy. Mickey. Beaky. Mick.
No, it's not Mickey. It's just Mick and Titch. We move on from this 1960s nostalgia wallow.
Right. Well, I wanted to raise quite a serious point today before we started getting onto the band I can never talk about, because I did not say that, Sen, and you know it. Now stop being naughty. Right, anyway, I wanted to talk about it today because I wanted to. I know that this is going to be a subject that a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, really? Haven't we had enough of this?" But it's the subject of censorship.
Oh yeah, okay, you got me.
Because I want to know whether or not censorship is actually good for the soul, in the sense that is it good for someone to be able to say how they feel without fear of being stifled and without the thought of, hang on a second, you're wrong because you think differently to me? Or is it actually quite good that in some strange way it's stopping people from opening a can of worms, which would also lead to a tirade of abuse online? I know it's a massive question, but I tell you for why I asked it.
There's a reason why something's happened, so you might as well just come clean.
I shall come clean. Okay. So what happened is that there was.
Oh no, this is you, isn't it? You've done something.
I've not done something.
You've upset your mother.
Very near to where we live was a massive fire recently. Okay. When I say recently, it was in the last 24 hours. Okay. There was a massive fire quite near to where we live. In fact, it was just over 24 hours ago.
Not in your kitchen.
Now, there is one of the Facebook groups that is dedicated to our local area. I was a member of, and I decided that I was going to inform people in the way that I do, working in news environment, what had gone on in our local area. I happened to stroll past said property that had sadly been singed.
Right.
And I photographed it, and I thought, in case you're wondering what that massive plume of smoke in the sky was yesterday, this is what happened. Naturally, hope everyone's okay. Well,
seems innocuous.
Well, did I get bombarded? Oh my God, you'd think
with abuse.
You'd think I'd killed somebody. Frank,
why? I can't see anything that's not objectionable about that. You're going past the building. This is what happened. There was a fire. The end.
Incredibly insensitive of me.
To say what?
To put a post of the photos of what had happened. Did
anybody die in this fire?
Now that I've no idea. I did say I hope nobody was injured, but I don't.
Well, that's fair enough.
But I did. The fact that I'd posted this, they also said something along the lines of, "I don't think this is appropriate. It makes me feel very uncomfortable." Well, don't look at it then, you idiot. That's the most obvious solution. If you are not comfortable looking at it, don't look at it, you fool.
It's not wrong. Phil, it's like when people rant about TV shows. I hate this. I hate X Factor. Yeah, don't watch it. To flip a channel. You've only got 500 channels to choose from. Flip a channel. Hey, here's another idea. Switch the thing off. Read a book. Marvelous. I'm in a meeting. I don't understand. I don't understand what people are getting upset about. Paul Rose, do these people pick up the local paper and shout at the sky?
Thank you. No, do you know what, Paul? That's exactly what went through my mind, because
they're just potty. They're just potty. This is the point. You got to. They won't say it to your face. And what are they upset? I don't understand what they're upset about.
Well,
you're not an arsonist.
Well, no, the only thing I can think of is that because it was, and look, I understand this. Truly, I understand it. They said it's because that was somebody's property. That was somebody's livelihood that's just gone up in smoke. And I get it. It's not there to be made a spectacle of. But there are people who are housebound at the moment. There are people who don't leave their front door, who will be wondering and who turn to social media for news. And
Ed Grossman's saying, was it on Twitter, Facebook? Where was it?
I don't really think it matters, if I'm honest with you. I mean, for what it's worth.
No, playing cagey.
No, it's not. Honestly, it's not relevant to the story. Well, it's honestly not.
What is relevant to the? No, all right. Let's cut to the chase here. Personally, I can't see that you've done anything wrong. You didn't do, and I'm going to be a little bit graphic, so forgive me. You didn't have pictures. No, you didn't have. It was posted on Pornhub.
That's very naughty, Edward.
I'm trying to have a proper grown-up conversation. Ed Grossman, straight into Pornhub.
Anyway.
Stop it. Right. Here we go. You didn't post photos of body. I mean, Okay, what I find objectionable. No. Seriously, Phil, what I find objectionable, if somebody, God forbid, there's a road crash or somebody jumps in front of a train, the worst, right? You don't really want to take photos of that. It's just grim, it's gruesome, and
apart from anything,
and it's revolting. It's revolting.
Apart from anything, who the hell does that? Seriously?
No, Phil, don't be naive about that. But people do. Oh, I was so shocked at XYZ station. Here's a picture of some poor bastard who jumped in front of a train. It's revolting.
God,
it's totally unnecessary, and it's a complete infringement on somebody's rights. And the family's rights of that poor deceased person. So, all right, putting that to one side, I can't see that you've done why people go crazy. Interesting. Sen Monroe, he said he got trolled for the first time last week, and he found it very upsetting. Well, Sen, I think I've met you twice, and yeah, no, it's revolting. It's very unpleasant. It's very unpleasant, but there's a lot of raving lunatics out there.
No, totally. And may I suggest as well,
they're as mad as a box of frogs. That's all there was to it.
Yeah, look, and might I suggest as well that the one thing that really stood out to me is that there was one person who said as well, why don't you start a community fund? Okay, well, not a bad idea, but if that's the case, you start a community fund. I mean, like,
it's like
I don't work.
Just shut up.
Yeah, I don't work in community fundraising. I work in news. I mean, it's a really nice idea, and I'm sure that the individuals who were affected by it would be really grateful for it.
But it's an unpleasant dig. It's a dig. It's a sideways slap, isn't it? Why don't you feel so worried? Why don't you start a community fund? Shut up.
I know. Here's what really annoyed me, though. Reassuring as it is to know, by the way, that people in the local area have developed some sort of social conscience. That's quite refreshing, because I wasn't convinced it existed much before yesterday. But that to one side, it's an iconic building. Okay, even though it's residential, it's actually quite an iconic building in the local area. People would because the architecture is slightly different. It's not old, but even so, it's still enough that people would drive by and they say, "Oh yeah, I know where that is." And it's now burnt to a cinder. It's really quite badly damaged. And I just thought, you know what? I don't understand it. It's reporting news, and it's not making a spectacle, I don't think. And exactly the same way Paul said it, is that if you were to report it in the local paper, would you rip out that page and would you have a go at the paper? I don't know if you would. But what I would say that I was really annoyed about.
You wouldn't.
Really, really annoyed about more than anything is that this particular place I posted it was administered. They actually sort of had they had an administration team.
There's an admin thing.
Admin team who monitor everything. And the best thing about this is after about 5 complaints, bang, removed.
It was gone.
Yep, gone.
Well, you're a very controversial figure. Let's be honest.
Do you know what? If that particular
anybody less controversial than Phil Dave would be bloody hard to find.
I mean, I would like to suggest that if their idea of keeping the local residents,
you know what?
If their idea of keeping the local residents informed is, can you recommend someone who can unblock my U-bend and photos of your dog in the sunshine?
That's what they want.
Frankly,
Phil, do you know what? We waste too much time on twats. Yep. I'm sorry. You can only be, Phil, you can only be as polite and encompassing and embracing. And after a while, you think, oh, Sodom, just shut the fuck up. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's upset you. You were doing it from the best. You were doing it from the best of motives. So if you extrapolate, Phil, hang on.
It's not. It's really important. This is not upset. It's frustration, because this is what I think is such a snapshot of the world.
Why bother? Who gives a shit? It's not about you. Who gives a shit about them? They're idiots.
Yeah.
If you'd been gross, if you'd made some silly little, I know we muck about, we arse about a lot, but if someone's just lost their home and God knows what else, and you made some flippant comment, which I'm always guilty, okay, take offense. I get that, because this is, a tragedy for somebody. But you're commenting on it. What do you go? Do these people go through the news? Look at that. Well, there's been a riot in some bastards. How dare they print that? Oh, there's been a plane crash. How dare they print? It's news. You don't want to read it. Move on. I know. This is madness. It's just madness.
It's just very odd, Very, very odd.
It's very, very odd behaviour.
But it's what I don't understand is that it's people whinge about freedom of speech, and then on the other hand,
they don't want freedom of speech. They want their freedom of speech. It's totally different. They go on about, oh, I want freedom of speech. No, what you want is your freedom of speech, as long as everybody agrees with you. And if people don't agree with you, oh, that's a terrible thing. Thank you very, very much, Mark J.W. Thomas. Sounds like an American film producer, doesn't it? One of those TV series. Produced by Mark J.W. Thomas. It's Smokey and the Bandit.
Because we want to be able to say that.
Hillbillies. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Sounding as good as ever on Deluxe Radio. That's very, very good. I've now lost it now. Where was it? Jumped up.
On the screen to you.
Oh, here we go.
Mark, can I just suggest that even if you aren't a producer, will you produce one program for it, just so we can say that this program was produced by Mark J.W. Thomas? I think that's got a nice ring to it.
We're going to have a big American sort of theme tune. No, not the national anthem. Like, the Dukes of Hazzard or something. Ed's saying, well, I don't think he has to be. What do we got? Sent. I can't hang around today. I have to push on with the book.
Oh, wow! Do it yourself.
Yeah, well, Mr. Busy. Send on the roll. My life and times. Just wanted to say hello and show support as always. Thank you. Well, it's very, very, very much appreciated, and I appreciate that. Angela, some join groups just to have a go because they're cowards in reality. Yeah, I mean. If you turned up at these people's homes, knocked on the door, hello, I'm Phil Dave. I did the thing about the burnt out house. What are you going to say to me?
You know what the thing is? The really weird thing is that I actually, it was at you after you handled the door handle. One thing that or too soon, what I really was quite shocked by is that one of the people who started, in inverted commas, trolling me, I don't know.
Your mother? Was it your mother?
Well, no, I knew them.
You knew them?
And I don't know if they knew that they knew me. And I thought,
close friends, are you?
Well, no, but they were. I'm not friends.
I'm
not friends with this particular individual. I don't follow them, and they don't follow me. But the point is, I thought, hang on a second. Like, do you realise that you? Not in an uppity sort of way, but I just thought, do you realise that you're talking? What's the matter with you?
Idiots. They're just idiots. It's just so stupid. I mean, have you got nothing else? The other thing is that what? Go on.
Got our answer. Our friend Mark is a radio person.
Mark J.W. Thomas. Mark J.W. Thomas. Not just
Mark J.W. Thomas. I do the live breakfast show 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Deluxe Radio, Monday to Friday, and it is produced by me. Well, Mark, it's a pleasure to have the host of the prime time on Deluxe Radio listening to us. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to when the cruise is starting again and we're on radio waves. It'll be fun. It'll be good.
Who can wait to hear that? Just think, you're going to think twice before booking a cruise now because you'll be stuck with
minding your own business 25 miles off the coast, heading towards the Scilly Isles or Barbados or Santander or any other bank, and suddenly coming out your speakers in your bedroom. Hello, it's Russ and Phil. And you're like, no.
How do you open this blithering porthole?
It's the porthole open. Let me out of it. Ed Grossman, Russ. Ed, can we talk about other mental health issues? Today's report about the impact of the virus, not lockdown, is very worrying. I haven't seen it. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen it. But one thing for sure, Ed, is, and Phil, major props to Phil, a year ago, he predicted, and then I said, I don't think so. And then within about a week, I said, no, you know what? You're absolutely right. I was being an idiot. You were absolutely right.
Okay, so
the side effects of this are horrendous. Go on.
Right, so the headline reads, and this is according to the BBC website, just so you know, people diagnosed with COVID-19 in the previous 6 months were more likely to develop depression, dementia, psychosis, and stroke, researchers have found. Now, one thing that I find quite disturbing about this is that it implies that it's because you've caught COVID. What it doesn't look into... well, we don't know if it is nonsense. Unfortunately, neither of us are in the position to say it's nonsense, but that is what the report is. No, but what the problem is that it doesn't look into the ramifications of COVID, not the side effects of it. This is not what people are talking about. This is certainly not what we're talking about.
No. We're not talking about long term. We're not talking about long COVID with organ issues.
And I don't understand
Hammond or Wurlitzer.
I really don't understand how they made the link between the two. What I'm really worried about is actually the effect that lockdown, that kind of thing.
Yes, this is the point, Phil. This is the point. Everybody's terrified. And a lot of people are not going to come out of it. We keep saying this. It's not rocket salad. People are not coming out of this the same as they went in. I'm not.
Ed is very quick to point out that my prediction was not about it was about the lockdown, not about the virus. No,
correct.
Ed,
correct.
I would never in a million years have said that it's the virus that causes mental health problems, and I still stand by in my limited knowledge of it, and it's incredibly limited because I'm no medical expert, but I don't see how there is a link between that. What I do see a link is between turning people's worlds upside down and telling them just to press the pause button indefinitely. That's where I see a link.
Right. There's two totally separate issues here, and where the mistake is that people conflate them into one sort of lumpy custard, and it's not right. Number one, excuse me, when people say, oh, COVID, it's just like a cold. It's not just like a cold. It is very nasty. You don't want it. Number one. Long COVID, such as Kate Garraway's husband, etc., is bloody awful. And the ramifications for that are horrid. You really don't want it. If you're young and fit and you get COVID, could be a bit like the flu and you'll bounce back. If you're my age, you're not going to bounce back so fast. Phil's got a fighting chance. And if you're in your 20s, you're probably pretty okay. And kids, little kids and very young teenagers, they're fine. If they can test positive for COVID, feel slightly under the weather. I mean, really no more than slightly under the weather. And within a few days, very few days, they're absolutely fine. That's the one thing. Being under house arrest for a year, not seeing your family, not hugging your kids, your grandchildren, not seeing your friends, it messes with your mind. Of course it does. And that's not because you got COVID, it's because you've been told your life's on pause, not having a career, not wondering where the hell you're ever going to make your next money from, how to put food on the table, how to pay the rent, how to pay the mortgage. Those are huge issues. Doesn't mean you got COVID. So Phil's point that he made over a year ago, which at the time seemed controversial, within a week I realized it was correct, was very true, very poignant, and very accurate.
Now, Ed is saying here, today's report blames the virus, not lockdown. No, we know, Ed. We know
we get that.
I've just that the report blames the virus. And that's what I'm saying, is I'm really worried about how I don't understand where this link with the virus comes from. It's in my humble, it's nothing to do with the virus. It's
so much easier. It's easier to say, you know why you're feeling depressed and you got agoraphobia and you're a nervous wreck. Oh, it's the virus. Well, I haven't had the virus. I've had my first jab. I've felt pretty damn good. Thank God. Miracle. But I have, right? Have I had, has it affected me mentally on certain days? Damn right. Damn right. I've had some very dark days. We all have. And then you think, well, just got to, grit my teeth, get on with it. And, thank God I've been very, very busy. Never been busier. But not the point. Not the point. You become nervous of everything. And that is a shocking thing. Chrissy Holt from Spain, don't play the song. My issue, he's going to play the song. My issue is not coming to UK. Feel like I'm in prison in Spain. Well, there you are. You got family and everybody over here, Chrissy. Yeah, and then Kimmy, it's a lovely thought, but so's giving free unicorns to everyone under 5. A glimmer of hope might be that everyone could be more understanding to people's anxieties. Kimmy, not a chance in hell. I wish it were true. I wish it was lovely. I wish we could have come out of this year of shit and go, we've all learned to be better people. No. People don't change.
I think people have learned to be more selfish from what I've seen. Ruthie Seagull says, actually, I don't believe
France.
Ruthie Siegel says that I don't believe for a moment they followed up everyone who's had COVID. Followed up ever. And it's a really interesting point there, not because of neglect per se, but it's distinctly possible that the health system's been so overwhelmed as it is. How could they even do that? How is it even possible to follow up?
They're screwed. Right. So we've been to Spain with Chrissy Holt. We've been to France with Ruthie Siegel. Now let's go to Germany.
Yep.
I
Germany.
tell people this is a global show and they go, yeah, bullshit. Well, it is. Now Richard Vero, he lives in Colditz in Germany, as in the castle.
Yep,
Would you like to read this one out, Philip? Would you like to read it out?
Yep, he's not kidding. Richard Vero says that I was in hospital for 2 weeks with COVID. It was 10 times worse than any flu I've had. Been out of hospital since middle of February, still on medication and aching from head to foot. Thankfully, I have a lot of work to do. I can do at home, my books. So mental health is okay. Not sure that I could say the virus affected me mentally, but luckily I am mentally strong. We're still on lockdown here in Colditz.
You couldn't make that up. You couldn't make that last sentence up. Hey, in Colditz, we're still in lockdown.
You know, though, I was
at school with Richard. Isn't this a weird thing? This is such a weird thing. The wonder of radio and everything. Richard was at school with me. And there he is. What's the Colditz music? There must be a theme tune. Can you look it up? Because from the movie, there must be. Oh, there was a TV series as well. You're too young to remember. It was a TV series. You can look it up, or a movie. So every time Richard Vero does, we have to play the Colditz theme tune. Well done, Ed. I got another question for everybody. Ed Grossman's saying it's worse in Italy. It's shocking. And France has gone into another lockdown. You can't play... When you play politics with people's lives, I know politics is about people, but, not giving the vaccination, all of that.
You are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run.
There you go. That's the Colditz theme.
No, it isn't the Colditz. It was blooming Dad's Army, greatest sitcom of all time. No. Can you like... You're such an idiot. Now I'm beginning to understand why that Facebook group didn't like you. I'm going to join them. I'm joining and trying to slag you off.
Feel like
Very good. Every time Richard Vero comes on, we're going to play. I don't know what the hell you just played. You could have played anything. I don't know what. Could be the Nick Vitty's digestive.
24 television favourites. That's the Colditz theme, apparently.
That's the TV Colditz. Okay, that's good.
No idea. I don't know what I'm listening out for.
Well, I don't know. If it says Colditz theme tune, I think you're onto a winner there. Anyway, Richard, we wish you better.
Absolutely.
It's nasty. It is very nasty. It's very, very, very nasty. And I know when I've spoken to Sam Kane and Linda Lusardi when they both got it, it was a shocker. I've
noticed, though, in all seriousness, because I'm quite convinced, I've never been tested for antibodies, but I do know that I was sick as a dog in March last year. Really, you remember I even had to drop 1 or 2 shows, and I've never done that before. So I've dropped out of shows if there's say, I don't know, some work-related thing, but nothing to do with health, that's for sure. Anyway, but as far as dropping out of the show because I don't feel well enough to do it is concerned, I don't remember the last time I've done that. Okay. And ever since then, I have realized, and people are probably going to say, I can't tell the difference, but my brain has been quite fuzzy when it comes to talking. So in other words, even though that I do speak, sometimes I do really feel as if I have to think very carefully or really try very hard to actually string a sentence together sometimes, especially if I'm tired. And I have noticed that since then. So, but who knows? Maybe they
get to my age and you say, what's that word? What's that word? What's that word? What am I thinking of? Although, how many people go into a room and go, what the hell did I come in here for?
I know, and that's fine, but it's the bar.
That drives me insane. I did it this morning. I wandered in. And I thought, I've only come in 2 rooms, and why am I here?
And Russ,
existentially, why are any of us here?
Russ, that was fine, but it was the toilet.
Then I remembered, but too late. Russ, you were poorly with no energy. Absolutely right, Kimmy Lashmar. I was knackered. I don't know what happened. I'd literally sit, write a couple of emails, go, I'm exhausted. I have to have a lying down on the sofa. I was absolutely out of it. Maya, that's a terrible joke, although it's quite funny. I got another thing which I would like to raise. Is this? Last night, I took about late to the bloody party. Last night, by pure chance, I watched for the very first time a Bohemian Rhapsody. I know, I'm 28 years late. I think there's a new film called Jaws coming out soon about dentists. Anyway,
Chrissy Holt says,
no, the answer to that is no, not at all, nowhere near. Now, thank you. I know I look at today, but I'm not sleeping well. Now, here's the thing.
Listening to Deluxe Radio, Chrissy Holt says, get to my age, it's even worse unless you're older than me. Speaking of Jaws.
Yeah.
You said there's a new film coming out.
Yeah, no, there was. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I watched Bohemian Rhapsody. I know I'm the last person in the world to see the film. Very good, very good. And what's that?
I haven't seen it either.
No, I only saw it last night. I've never seen it before.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I've not seen it at all. Okay, my point was this, and it really interested me. It paints Freddie Mercury in a certain way. And then somebody did that. So I made this point on Facebook about I'm the last person to see it, blah, blah, blah. And somebody said, Freddie Mercury, I can't use, even I won't use the language. It's a friend of mine called Wendy Frost, who's pretty senior in the music industry and a good mate. And she said, Freddie Mercury was a total, begins with C. And I said, okay. Wow. And then said, yes, cad. Absolute cad, and said some things about him, and it's like, does that? And I said, wow, they kept that pretty quiet. You know, I knew it was gay. It's neither here nor there. But what she said was like pretty unpleasant. And I'm not saying whether it's true, it's not true. I don't know. And the whole thing was, what does that mean? We shouldn't listen anymore. You know, I had this argument. I was called onto another radio station when, you know, about banning Michael Jackson. Somebody said we should ban Michael Jackson records. And I said, well, you're depriving the world of great music if you do that. And then the argument came back. And this is where it gets really like the moral maze. It gets difficult because then the presenter of this particular program, I think it was on your radio show. It was on your radio station, Phil, the other one, the little one compared to ours, the tiny one. Rupert Murdoch phones me all the time. How are you doing it, Russ? I go, Roo. It's a knack. And they said, what? You don't want to ban Michael Jackson? I said, well, no, I don't. I thought he was guilty, but I don't want to ban his music. And they said, but you agree with the ban on Gary Glitter? And I went, well, yes, I do. I said, because you cannot compare Gary Glitter's pop songs with the body of work of Michael Jackson. Now, and also Michael Jackson was never found guilty of anything.
I was going to say, I mean, apart from the fact that actually Gary Glitter, if that's even his real name, was guilty.
Oh, Gad. No, but he was guilty. He went to jail. So, yeah. But it's an interesting thing because the principle's the same. So would you ban Queen and Freddie Mercury? No, I wouldn't because the music's great. But then you just say, well, you're just saying you're not banning it because you like the music and you couldn't give a monkey's about. I mean, Gary Glitter's songs, they were very good. They were very good 3-minute pop songs. They were of its type. They were very good. He was disgusting, absolutely disgusting, horrible. Paul, yes, going back to Bohemian Rhapsody, the recreation of Live Aid was amazing in the film. Yeah, it was very, 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 very good. No, it's a wasted vote, Chrissy.
No, Chrissy, hang on. Can I just say, sorry.
I'm not going to get into politics.
No. This is very important, okay? We are in radio terminology. We're in a period called the Purdah period, okay? Which means that we do not discuss how people should vote, can vote, anything like that. There's very strict laws in place on that. So forgive us. That comment has to go, and we're not talking about it. Thank you. Sorry.
I think that's actually, that's right. Phil's not being difficult about this. Let me just explain. They put when it's an election time on radio, even though we are not really governed and we are pretty much uncensored and can say what the hell we like. You're going to do, right? You're going to do.
Yeah.
They put pardon?
Deluxe Radio and Radio Waves. We need to be considerate to our friends there.
Absolutely, we do that, and it's a courtesy as well, and I think it shows a degree of professionalism. Just to explain what Phil's saying, when it's time of an election, whether it's a mayoral election in London or it's a general election or whatever, they put like an exclusion zone, so that you can't come in and slag off one candidate or the other or give your opinion. You're not allowed to go near it. You can't touch it. The presenters can't touch it, and the guests can't touch it. And I think that's a fair thing. I think we just leave it at that. Now, Ed Grossman, now you need to watch yesterday.
Definitely not.
Have you seen that?
I got the trail for it. It does not look like I'm going to.
Didn't really kind of float my.
No, it doesn't look like what they're going to do with my favorite band. I don't think I'm going to approve somehow.
That's interesting. Stephen Marsh, being sensible for once, says, I read that Facebook comment that was on my Facebook page about Freddie Mercury skating on thin ice, saying things like that, especially when the person in question is deceased, can't put his side of the argument. There's always that, isn't there? There's always that, but that means you can never. That means sort of anyone who's dead, you can't really criticize what they did. You know, it makes all right. Paul Andrews, I'm a massive Beatles fan and I loved it. Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. When I was on Pop Master, I do like that. Ken Bruce does a lovely job with that. When I was on Pop Master, I was told in the run-up to the election I couldn't mention politics on Radio 2. Didn't even think I knew how to spell politics on Radio 2. Here's a thing that I saw today that fascinated me. I think it came out yesterday. The decision by the BBC, it's not a BBC bashing. I don't want to talk about the BBC per se. It's a wider issue. They don't want to make programs for older people. Older, in their opinion, presumably anybody over 35 or 40. Seriously. And it's like, really? Really? You don't want to do that? Give the people what they want. Where do you think they're going to go? You don't think that everybody 40 plus is going to watch all these? I can't. Just extraordinary. Just give the people what they want. That's what they want. That's what they should have. Don't prescribe. Don't bully. Don't dictate. Don't lecture. Just be entertaining. Jeez. Oh, here we go. Ed Grossman, Phil. Oh, this is interesting. Last night in the BBC News, they put a Lib Dem PPB.
Party political broadcast.
Oh, thank you very much. In the middle of the news, we're going to complain.
But
no, that's different, Ed.
Hang on. I was going to say, the party political broadcasts will be scheduled very carefully throughout the day, and they will balance it. So where they have the Liberal Democrats in one place, there's no doubt in my mind that at an equal time of the day somewhere else, they will have another, and they'll do it on rotation. So in other words, today, they may play the Conservative Party political broadcast at that time. So it's all very, very carefully balanced out. You're wasting your time complaining. They won't care less.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a very interesting point from Spain, from Chrissy Holt. Radio 2 was good with blah, 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 but Radio now too good for youngsters. Okay, good morning to you, Elizabeth Green in New York City, America. How lovely. Hope you're well. It's pretty good, isn't it? We've got Germany, France, Spain, New York. Little radio show. It's fun.
Hertfordshire.
And Hertfordshire, where hurricanes hardly happen. Here's the thing. When we set up first of all, set up women's radio station, Howard and Penny, and then I came along, and then Howard and I set up men's radio station in January 2019.
Did you?
No, we didn't. It was all done by you and your mum. And and Andy Lucas. I'm just throwing that in for good measure. And it's like, you don't want to chase an audience that isn't there. Now, the twins are 22 now. I've never listened to radio in their life. They have never, ever listened to a radio station in their lives. What they've done is found their own music on the internet, and Reddit and recommendations. Hi from Hamburg. Oh my God. Wow. I keep forgetting, Steve. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting that you're over in Hamburg. Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing you at Christmas. It's BFPO 22. And here's Al McCogan with Dreamboat. Anyway, it's so when the BBC say they're going to do this, or any other radio station, you're chasing an audience that just isn't there. It's a complete illusion. You're not going to drag them back. They don't watch TV. They don't listen to radio.
You dream boats, you lovable dream boats.
Oh, thanks, Alma. Anyway,
Alma Cogan, she was always a little kid, but she was so glam. She was so glam. Had an affair with John Lennon, you know.
good Lord.
Oh, yeah, they were really close. They were very close.
Wow.
Yeah, who knew? Hey? Alma Cogan, Yoko Ono. Difficult choice. Anywho, Stephen Marsh. I can't stand the Beatles.
Now, do you know
Well,
what?
you know, I can't get angry about it. If you don't like them, you don't like them. It's like me saying I can't stand beetroot. If you like beetroot, you're going to understand. I can't bear
No,
beetroot.
but I don't think it is like that. And I tell you for why, is that I never understand when people say they can't stand the Beatles. The only thing I can think that people don't like about the Beatles is their success.
No, they
Because,
just don't like the music.
no,
Maybe they
but
just don't like the music.
hang on a second, hang on. Because the Beatles themselves had such an amazing catalogue of music.
Don't get me started. They're my favourite band in the history of the world. So
Different
that's all
style.
there is to it. I adore the Beatles.
Constantly reinventing themselves,
Yeah.
changing the style of music, or what have you. And I'm so convinced there is something for everybody for the Beatles. I really find it hard to believe. I understand when people don't go nuts over them. I get that completely. Because, you know, I've never personally sort of gone crazy over any artist. I don't understand that at all. You know, when people sort of get completely obsessed and fanatical.
Yeah, of course they do. I
I don't
understand
get
that.
that. That's not my style at all. But I don't understand when people say they don't like the Beatles, because I know a few people who don't, but I can't see why, because they just span such an incredible era.
Hey,
And
you
with
don't like him. You don't
music-
like him. It's not law. It's not the law. It's that their music does nothing for me. Nothing to do with this. No, I can get that. You know, if it doesn't, it's like I don't like the Bee Gees. You are.
But the Bee Gees had the same style throughout.
Well, I just don't. Hey, that is so weird. So did I. Elizabeth Green from New York City said, I saw the Beatles perform at Hammersmith Odeon age 15. I
Wow.
must have been a little bit younger, and I saw them perform at Hammersmith. It's the nicest thing. My father, he just said, I've got tickets. I said, what for? I was a little kid. I said, what for? He said, we're going to see the Beatles tonight. I went, what? And he took me off to see the Beatles Christmas show at the Hammersmith Odeon, as it was, before I went through 800 name changes. And I've talked about this before, but it was, I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was the 1960.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
All my trouble seems so Ochenway. Anyway, so Stephen Marsh, I'm obsessed with Joe Mama Trading's music. Oh, I'm really not. Oh God, you see, I'm really, really not at all. And it's like another band that people went mad for, the Lighthouse Family. I thought they were like the most boring, monotonal band. I thought, what are people going on about this? It's so dull, but people loved it. And they were hugely popular.
To
So
be
who's
fair,
right?
Joe
But
Nama
they're all right.
Joe Nama Trading, to be fair, sang the most phenomenal lyrics. And there's one particular line that I'm crackers about, which I think, what a brilliant thing to put in a song.
Is it? I'm
It's
going to the kitchen to look at my holler to see that it's not burnt.
That's the one.
I'm in the kitchen with my mother and opening the oven now. Was it that one?
It's the opening line to one of her songs. The opening line is, I am not in love, but I'm open to persuasion.
I know, it's a great line. Oh,
What
that's
a
great
line. I am not
That
in
is
love,
a
but I'm open to persuasion. What a fantastic way to start a song.
cracking line. It's a cracking line.
And with the
It's
I'm
like,
afraid Stephen
oh
Marsh.
my God, you're kidding. Elizabeth Green, Now I'm Jealous. I saw the Stones in 1963 in a club in Belsize Park. Oh,
Now,
one
Stephen,
can only
you're
dream of such a
with
thing.
me. You're going to be
Such
very happy with me, but I can't for the life of me remember the name of that song. by Joan Armatrading. I know the song. I can sort of sing it in my mind now.
Persuasion. I think it's. Oh, I know. Does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? I think that's what it's called. Does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? If your mother says don't chew it, do you swallow it and fret? Lonnie Donegan. Marvelous he was. Music to die to. Love and affection. Thank you, Kimmy Lashmar.
It's
Love and affection.
Thank
Well
you,
done, Kimmy.
Very good, of course. Love and affection.
Manfred Mann. Oh, love Manfred. Manfred Mann. Fantastic. Fantastic. I did a quiz show with, oh, come on, Russell. Paul. Mine's gone blank. Lead singer. Paul. Brilliant guy. Brilliant musician. Eats microbiotics. Still looks about 28.
Weller.
No. The lead singer of Manfred Mann. Paul, help me out. Come on, gang. The Country Club. Ed Grossman's just worked out he probably snogged Elizabeth Green in the Country Club in Belsize Park.
Lucky old Elizabeth.
Lucky old Ed. I think Ed's got the better deal here.
Goodness sake.
What was the lead singer, for God's sake, of Manfred Mann? Come on, gang. It's driving me nuts. I know it's got nothing to do with mental health. That's mine, because I can't. Paul Jones, thank you. Oh, thank God for that. Thank you, Paul Carroll and Stephen Marsh. Paul Jones. I did a quiz show with Paul Jones. And do you remember? Well, it was very, very, very rare. I had a Manfred Mann album, but it was issued on reel-to-reel tape. Unheard of now. Unheard of for the last 1,000 years. I get it. But it was issued on reel-to-reel with a proper cover. And I told him this. And I said, would you like it? Of course, I couldn't bloody find it. But there we go.
Kimmy Lashmar says, I love Dave D, Dozy Beaky, Mick, and Twitch. So it would suggest...
close, Kimmy, so close. But you're not going to go on that holiday to Barbados, but you've still got the chance to win that lovely fondue set.
It would suggest to me that my inability to say that band's name is not really as unique as some people accuse it of being. So there you go.
This is interesting.
She does correct herself. Either West, or she's getting personal.
Go West, another great band.
Oh, I
love Go West.
Having a bit of a revive at the moment.
Are they?
Well, there's a safety campaign out. This is genuinely. This is not a joke.
No. They don't sing. That was Village People. You're getting it all confused.
What? Go West?
No. Stop. You're confusing two things. There was a band before you were born.
Yes.
Little shit. Called Go West. That was the name of the band. They were brilliant.
Oh yeah, Go West.
They were on the Chrysalis label. Okay, had all their stuff. And then Village People did a song called Go West, which is the most peculiar advert on TV. Turn left, go left.
At the next junction.
Left. What the hell is that? I watched it 3 times and I thought, I am not following this ad at all.
Well,
I don't understand what they're trying to tell you to do.
Go West, the band, didn't they do the
Peter Cox and Richard Drummond. Thank you, Paul Rose.
Didn't
Absolutely fabulous band. We close our eyes. We close our eyes with a song. Go on.
I was just saying, Go West, the band.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't they do the soundtrack to Pretty Woman, King of Wishful Thinking?
No. I'm the king of wishful thinking. That was a Scottish band, I believe. Who the hell was that? Anyway, it wasn't Go West. King of Wishful Thinking was maybe I'm wrong.
No, it was
completely wrong. Kimmy says, yes, Phil. All right, I'm wrong. Who knew? I didn't know that was there. Am I right? Am I wrong? I think you're right and I'm wrong. I'm wrong, you're right.
Hold it. Just a cotton picking second. I just want to clip that later today. Don't you worry. That's fine. You can carry on now.
10 quid bet over the weekend. I so lost a 10 quid bet. Right? I'll tell you why. So somebody close to me said, oh yeah, we're talking about Doris Day, and Doris Day being an Alfred Hitchcock film. So like being an absolute arse that I am, I said, Doris Day wasn't in a Hitchcock film. Do you want to bet? Yes, I want to bet. I thought, damn. So I couldn't back down. So I bet, shook on it. Bugger me. Doris Day was in a Hitchcock film. I had no idea. It completely escaped me. That £10 note, I have been reliably informed, is now taped to a hall mirror somewhere in London with a note saying, "I won this from Russ." Couldn't make it up. This makes me laugh.
There's no point of dwelling on these things. You just have to think to yourself, "Que sera?"
Sera. Well, whatever will be, will be. The future, it's just not ours to see. Que sera. Oh, dear, dear, dear. That report what? That's a Deacon Blue. Thank you. It was like a Deacon Blue. So hang on. On the best gigs I ever went to see, says Paul Claridge, live from halfway up a ladder, being beaten up by Eastern European drug gangs in East Croydon, Jerry Lee Lewis. Wowza, at a small venue in Kentish Town. He didn't disappoint. He climbed on top of the piano and threatened to set it on fire. Jerry Lee Lewis.
I know what you're thinking. You're crackers.
You know, people have got, the song, one of my favorite songs, Midnight Hour. Just interesting about it. I'm going to wait till the Purple Pussycat. Your mum's a bit of a raver. She remembers the Purple Pussycat.
Yes, you're talking about the fantastic song by Wilson Pickett.
Yeah. Do you know what that song's about? The lyric goes, if you remember, everybody.
I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love comes tumbling down.
Do you know what it's about? And this is true. It's not me making this up.
I don't know.
Every state in America has different laws where you can have sex. And it varies from state to state. It's not a national limit. And the song Midnight Hour was inspired. Wait for this. So somebody was with this girl and took her to another state in the car and waited till the midnight hour until she became legal. I'm not making it up. That's what the song's about. You'll never hear it the same way again. I'm going to wait until the midnight hour when my love comes tumbling down. And I don't know what the age of consent was. It was either something ridiculous. I don't even think it was 16. I think it was even younger, which is, I don't really want to go there, but that's America for you. And that's what that song's about. Isn't that weird? Ed Grossman. Ed's on a roll today because not only does he think he snogged Elizabeth Green in New York City at the country club, now, you're not going to like this, Phil. We're getting into very dangerous Oedipal areas. Linda, were you... Linda, were you the au pair I pulled? Phil's face. It's the idea. Phil's thinking, my mum once had a life before my sister and I rocked up. She used to go out clubbing. Phil's face. If you're listening on Deluxe Radio and Radio Waves, I'm so sorry you're missing him, but his face is a picture.
It's just, there are some conversations.
No. This is great.
That a child.
This is a rich vein of comedy we need to exhaustively mine.
Right.
Ed, that's going to tickle me for the rest of the day. And I've got a hell of a day lined up. Okay, you're lost. That's what I like about Ed. You're lost. You didn't snog me.
Ed,
yeah.
Ed Grossman. You will not win against my mother. I'm warning you. Just stop now for your own sake.
No, you're not going to win again.
I've had a lifetime experience of it. Believe me, it's much easier to just concede. Get over it.
Yeah, right. I think we have to look at this logically. Who knows Linda Dave best? Her son, Philip, or Ed Grossman?
And
a parvenu
conversation. Ed, let me think. No. Ed, okay, your loss. My mother, doubt it. Okay, seriously, enough, children.
This is Radio 4 at its finest, isn't it?
Oh.
Moral maze. Did you snog Phil Dave's mother? That's just ghastly. Anyway, the interesting thing is people look at like Phil's parents, or they look at me, or whatever, and they just see how we are now in 2021. I don't see how we were. Very, very naughty, but that's he ain't old enough. Well, I don't know.
I think
They
that's
were
in
fun.
response
It was fun, wasn't it?
I think that's in response to Stephen Marsh's point, but might I respectfully
Oh,
request
the foul bomb, Linda. Were you at the foul bomb?
might I respectfully request that we move on from that particular
No. Oh, no. We're really loving this. To be honest,
in more ways than one.
we are helping my mental health because you've cheered me up.
Jolly
Linda,
good.
Dave, Val Bon, you would have danced with, you would have hung out with Francine. My cousin Francine used to go to. We used to go to the Val Bon. What was it? It was actually called the original name. In the film, this will mean nothing to you. It was actually initially called Anthea's Val Bon, and the Anthea, not Anthea Turner, bless, Anthea. God, what was her name? The one who married the one with all the teeth who married Bruce Forsyth, Anthea Redfern. And Anthea Redfern was dating the owner of the Val Bon at the time. Was a guy called was it Louis Brown? Help me out, guys. It was a guy called Louis Brown. He was the king of clubs, and he had the Val Bon, which was a great club back in the day. And it was called Anthea's Val Bon, and then it got changed to just the Val Bon. Yeah, Redfern. Thanks, Stephen Marsh. That's right. Anthea Redfern. All the teeth. Give us a twirl and all that nonsense. Anywho, that was it. Right. So give the people what they want. What?
Nostalgia, I think,
is used to be.
No, nostalgia is very good for the soul.
I have a view on this. Louis Brown, absolutely, Ed. I have a view on this, and it's this, that it's, I don't live in the past. A lot of people live in the past, and I got some very, very odd comments on Facebook about Capital Radio and stuff like that. And I just wrote, it was a very long time ago, and it's history. And I look back on it with huge fondness, as I do with most of my life, with huge fondness, but I don't live there. I don't be there.
Thank you, baked potato.
Happy birthday, Lady Lucas.
Oh, there she is. And Andrea, happy birthday to you. Quick hello. She's got 3,000 people in her front garden all coming in two at a time. Birthday tributes. Samantha's. Where was that, Michael Verby? Samantha's was another club. Yes, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, sorry, you were talking about nostalgia and you say that you don't live in the past.
No, but I don't. I like to live in the here and now, and I look forward to the future. But I think it's okay to enjoy the past.
Exactly.
I think it's really okay to enjoy. Look back and go, that was fun. We had a laugh.
Exactly my point is I have no issue whatsoever with dwelling on the past in the sense of just sort of looking back at it and thinking, oh, wasn't it nice when this happened, when it was like this? When you start letting it affect the present or worse still the future, that's when it starts to go horribly wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with nostalgia. Nostalgia is very soothing, and I think nostalgia actually brings an awful lot of comfort to people. So for that reason,
it comforts me. It's nice. It's nice. I got blue over the last couple of days, and I was thinking. Then I thought, Russell, you can't undo the past. It's pointless. It's an absolute futile exercise.
You say you
terrible can't. Terrible for your mental. Really bad for your mental health.
You say you can't do it past, but you'd be forgiven for thinking what we've witnessed within the last year that was possible. But anyway,
you've lost me. How do you mean?
Well, some of the protests pulling down statues and stuff like that.
Oh well,
apparently
that's the whole program. It's a whole program in itself. Absolutely right. Samantha's on Burlington Street next to Mike Steiner. Yeah, I woke up in the dumps. Have you left your flat? I woke up in the dumps, says Elizabeth Green, and you made my morning. Oh, bless. Well, that's good, Elizabeth Green. Maybe we're don't go, please. Well, we've got to go. We've got to go. I have got to.
You know what? Hang on a sec. I thought that Elizabeth was saying that when she was on a night out, she woke up in a skip. That's what I thought she was talking. No, I understand.
Excuse me. Right, excuse me. Have I got how long we got? 2 seconds. Somebody I knew called Emma Stakes, and I call her Mistakes. Emma Stakes woke up in a skip. She got so trolleyed. She actually physically woke up in a skip.
Good Lord. That's a sign of a good night out.
How she got there?
I'd say that's a sign of a good night out for me. I don't understand why people are
hilarious. Can you imagine? You're so trolleyed. You wake up in a skip somewhere. And you think, what the hell am I doing here?
Stephen Marsh having his second jab tomorrow. Best of British.
Whoa, I don't know when mine is. It's pretty soon. pretty soon.
Anyway, should we do this all over again on Friday, shall we?
Friday, and you can have 3 hours of our utter nonsense with all our guests, who I can't remember off the top of my mind who they are. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.